The Rock is the fakest celebrity in Hollywood.
I can tell you with a little bit of uncertainty because I failed math, I was probably at that time ingesting about anywhere between 6 to, well, I would say possibly almost 8,000 calories a day.
I can tell you there is no way The Rock burns off enough calories to average 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day and look like this. If he actually ate those kind of calories, 6,000 to 8,000 a day, he would be 100 pounds overweight. There is no way he eats this much.
The Rock is not natural, okay? The Rock, he's not a patient of mine, so I don't worry about getting sued.
We're going to be talking about what steroid cycle I think The Rock uses.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was once Hollywood's untouchable icon, a real-deal hero with a megawatt smile, and an underdog story that could make anyone believe in the American dream. From a wrestler booed with chants of "Die Rocky Die" to an action star raking in billions at the box office, he seemed like the guy who had it all figured out. Hard work, charm, and a brand with 400 million followers, producers begged to work with him. Fans ate up his relentless positivity, and social media crowned him the king of perseverance. But today, that shiny image is crumbling faster than a bad movie plot. From the epic flop of Black Adam to his behind-the-scenes power plays that turned Henry Cavill into a sacrificial pawn, The Rock's been racking up L's. Add to that accusations of unprofessionalism, like showing up 7 to 8 hours late to set every day, and the downright bizarre pee bottle scandal that screams arrogance, and it's clear he's gone from Hollywood saint to a walking billboard, exposed and abandoned by fans who see right through him. So, what happens when a man forgets he's human and becomes nothing more than a commodity priced by views and deals? Dwayne Johnson's journey kicked off in the shadows. A broke kid from Hawaii arrested multiple times for fighting and petty theft. His football dreams crashed and burned when the Calgary Stampeders cut him, leaving him with just $7 in his pocket. Yep, the spark behind $7 Productions. But that rock-bottom moment lit a fire under him. In the WWE, he transformed from Rocky Maivia, a rookie wrestler boot out of the ring, into The Rock, a cocky third-person talking villain who had crowds losing their minds. He didn't just outgrow the bad guy stigma that traps most wrestlers. He became the most beloved, electrifying star in the game, then leveled up to a legit movie star, somehow never losing that realness. That arrogance, it wasn't fake. It was exactly what fans craved from a heel. And The Rock played the crowd like a maestro. When he hit Hollywood, he reinvented himself again, going from a gentle giant in family flicks like The Game Plan and Tooth Fairy to a bald, jacked-up action hero. Bulking up wasn't just a glow-up. It was a calculated move to fix early box office flops. While other wrestlers turned actors felt like gimmicks, The Rock came off authentic, funny, relatable, poking fun at himself on Instagram, surprising fans with pop-up visits and diving into charity work. $7 Productions became his fortress, a machine built for security and control. Pumping out 2 to 3 movies a year, The Rock wrote his own scripts, locked in lifetime rights and dodged editions and artistic risks. He revived fading franchises like Fast 5 when Fast and Furious was running on fumes, or Jumanji, convincing fans he'd honor their childhood memories while making it fresh for Gen Z. His model put commerce over art, turning him into a relentless content churner. His mantra, "I've got a bond with the audience. They'll watch my movies and feel good." Sounds noble, but it's a slick excuse to dodge bold creative roles for the safe, sellable The Rock saves the world formula. It's bankable, sure, but shallow. He became the safe bet, never saying anything too spicy in public, always the picture-perfect guy that top producers stake their careers on. But fans are starting to see through the megawatt smile, spotting a calculated strategy where they once saw sincerity. The first crack in The Rock's perfect image appeared when his superhuman physique became a lightning rod for suspicion. At 50, maintaining that god-tier body isn't just tough, it's straight-up risky, especially with the heart issues he's admitted to. Packing on over 17 pounds of lean muscle in just 2 years. Bodybuilding pros called it naturally impossible for someone already at his level. Joe Rogan didn't mince words, blasting him. Everything he's doing is the opposite of sustainable and straight up saying, no way he's clean.
Not a chance in hell he's clean.
No.
Not a chance in hell. As big as The Rock is, at 50, he's so massive and he's so different than he was when he was 30.
Around the same time, stars like Liver King got dragged for lying about steroid use, and fitness insiders were whispering The Rock was likely juicing too. The problem isn't steroids. Hollywood's no stranger to that. It's The Rock's hardcore denial, only coping to trying steroids at 18, acting like his fans are too dumb to question it. If he'd come clean, he could have been hailed for honesty, like Zac Efron or Christian Bale. But by building his brand on fitness and nutrition, he's backed himself into a corner, admit the truth, and he'd be confessing to misleading millions about realistic fitness goals. Fans were furious. He's basically a living billboard selling an image, not himself. That fakeness was a gut punch to the public's intelligence, torching the 4 a.m. grind persona he'd built. The fakery kept piling up with small but deadly details. Take the time he claimed to eat an In-N-Out burger for the first time in years, hyping it as a rare cheat meal, only for proof to surface that he'd been chowing down on them regularly.
This is the third time he's done it. He keeps pretending that he's trying In-N-Out for the first time every couple of years. The other 2 videos are still on your Instagram page.
That lie obliterated his relatable giant vibe as fans realized everything from Instagram posts to personal stories was a scripted performance. Social media, especially longtime fans, felt betrayed with comments like, "He's just a walking advertisement." When called out, The Rock doubled down, ignoring the criticism, offering no apology, and letting his PR team churn out more feel-good posts. The result? A tidal wave of social media backlash with thousands of negative comments and memes roasting his inauthenticity. The Maui Charity Fund scandal hit even harder. When The Rock and Oprah, 2 billionaires, asked the public to donate to wildfire victims instead of covering it themselves, they lit a match under a powder keg of outrage. The fallout was a brutal loss of trust from fans who once saw him as a hero of the people. Social media, especially in Hawaii, erupted with comments like, "He's got hundreds of millions. Why is he asking us for money?" Facing the firestorm, The Rock had to swallow his pride and issue a public apology. "I get it and I could have done better."
When we first launched the fund, there was some backlash, and I want to address and acknowledge that backlash right now. And here's what I have to say about that. I get it, and I completely understand, and I could have been better.
But it landed as too little, too late, a hollow attempt to save face rather than genuine remorse. The damage was done. His credibility tanked with posts on X racking up tens of thousands of dislikes and scathing comments. The Rock's ego hit its absolute peak with Black Adam. Black Adam was sold as a history-making turning point for the DC Universe. Posters were everywhere. Trailers dropped like wildfire. And The Rock himself wouldn't stop hyping his catchphrase. The hierarchy of power in DC is about to change forever. As the world's biggest action star, Dwayne Johnson had fans, especially comic book nerds, convinced this was the dawn of a new era. They expected a Black Adam that was fierce, complex, a brutal anti-hero with tragic depth. But when the film hit theaters, it was a total letdown. Critics shredded it as a hollow action mess with a weak script and a character so shallow it had zero connection to the source material. The Black Adam on screen wasn't the layered villain from the comics. He was just The Rock, jacked, unbeatable, not a scratch on him. That invincibility choked out any drama the movie could have had. The truth behind the flop came out slowly. A scandalous no-lose clause in The Rock's contract. This clause demanded his character could never lose, never cry, never do anything weird. Basically, Black Adam had to be a shining star. Story logic be damned. For an anti-hero, that meant erasing all tragedy, moral grayness, and moments that could spark debate. The film turned into a platform to protect The Rock's untouchable image, not to honor the original character. Fans saw through it instantly. Social media erupted with sarcasm. The Rock's contract: can't lose, can't cry, can't do anything weird, so why even bother with a script? That clause stripped Black Adam of its complexity, leaving a soulless, buff black Superman knockoff with no weight or heart. But The Rock didn't just mess with the character, he overpowered the studio. Warner Brothers wanted Black Adam and Shazam together. True to the comics were their sworn enemies. The Rock shut that down, insisting on a solo film, then went rogue by bringing Henry Cavill back as Superman in a post-credits scene. His endgame: make Black Adam the centerpiece of the entire DC universe, facing off against Superman in a multi-year saga. This wasn't just bold. It was a star putting his ego above the studio's plans and, worse, the comic book legacy. When Black Adam bombed, grossing just $393 million against a massive $260 million budget, the whole thing fell apart. Then came the fake the profit stunt, one of the most shameless PR moves ever. Instead of owning the estimated $100 million loss, The Rock and his team leaked fake numbers to Deadline, claiming the film made $5,272 million. The goal: save face and keep the illusion of success alive, but it backfired hard, fueling fan rage. Online they roasted him. "I smell what The Rock is cooking and it's burnt to a crisp." The knockout punch was the Superman play. The Rock dragged Henry Cavill back, sparking fan hype for a long-term return. But less than 2 months later, Cavill was canned when James Gunn and Peter Safran took over DC Studios. That brief spark of hope was snuffed out, and fans unleashed their fury on The Rock, blaming his personal ambition for throwing the DC universe into chaos. One savage comment nailed it. He wasn't kidding about changing the hierarchy of power. He got everyone replaced, including himself. In the end, Black Adam didn't kick off a new era. It became a textbook case of a star's arrogance tanking a franchise. Comic fans who'd hoped for a true take on a complex villain were left with nothing but disappointment and betrayal. What they saw wasn't Black Adam. It was The Rock in a cape trying to make the entire DC universe his personal stage. If Black Adam proved The Rock could wield his star power to hijack an entire cinematic universe, Red One laid bare another ugly truth behind the megastar sheen. He's an unprofessional disaster who caused massive damage to a project. Red One, a Christmas movie with dreams of becoming the next big holiday franchise, burned through a staggering $250 million in production and marketing. But when it hit theaters, it barely clawed back $185 million and got trashed by critics, scraping a pitiful 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. This wasn't just a financial flop. It was hard proof that the Rock formula had fizzled out. Leaked behind-scenes reports were even more damning. Multiple sources claimed The Rock rolled up to set an average of 78 hours late every single day. This forced the crew to grind through overnight shoots, dragging out production and jacking up the already massive budget by at least $50 million. That hard-working, disciplined 4 a.m. gym grind image he's been peddling on Instagram, totally exposed as a fake act. Then there's the pee bottle scandal. A small but shocking detail. The Rock allegedly peed in water bottles and handed them off to production assistants to deal with.
This is called Desert Sand. It's a badass color, never seen before on the market in a training shoe. And I just realized you just saw my big bottle of pee. Look, I go hardcore when I train. I don't have time to go to the bathroom. I find a bottle, I pee in it, and I keep training like a beast.
For fans, it's a ridiculous, humiliating anecdote. For the crew, it exposed a toxic culture of entitlement on set where the star could do whatever he wanted without a care for the fallout. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were outright pissed. Social media lit up with mockery. He says he's up at 4 a.m. grinding but shows up to set late all day. Guess he's just up early to post on Instagram. Others were more scathing. The Rock used to be a symbol of hard work. Now he's just a guy burning studio cash and disrespecting the crew's effort. The anger spread like wildfire as fans realized the idol they once admired was acting like an unchecked king. No wonder the film community and audiences clapped back hard. Many called it peak arrogance proof. The Rock forgot a basic truth. A movie's success doesn't just come from the star, but from the hundreds of unsung workers behind the scenes. When a star gives themselves permission to show up late, abuse their power, and act recklessly, it's not just the movie that tanks, it's the carefully built image that crumbles in the wake of the audience's fury. If Black Adam and Red One exposed The Rock's knack for tanking movies with his arrogance and unprofessionalism, his return to the WWE, his old home turf infuriated fans in a whole different way. He stole Cody Rhodes's historic moment. 4 years, the WWE had been crafting to finish the story arc for Cody Rhodes. A fan-favorite icon whose grueling, sacrifice-filled journey to the top of WrestleMania captured hearts. It wasn't just a storyline. It was a promise, a collective dream that fans had patiently waited to see come true. But then The Rock stormed back and shattered it all. Instead of lifting Cody up, he pushed him aside to hog the spotlight. Twisting finished the story into a self-serving promo for his Great One brand and his untouchable ego. For loyal fans, it wasn't just disappointment. It was a slap in the face to their trust. The dream they'd waited years for was snatched away just to fuel the power trip of a star already drowning in fame and fortune. It gets worse. After stealing the WrestleMania spotlight, The Rock ghosted immediately, leaving Cody with a sloppy storyline and fans boiling with rage. Social media exploded with backlash. One fan on X put it bluntly: The Rock sold out Cody and the entire WWE just to keep his invincible image. He's not ours anymore. What really stung wasn't just the script meddling. It was The Rock stomping all over the community's emotions. Cody Rhodes stood for a shared dream, a cathartic payoff after years of watching him grind his way to the top. When that moment was stolen, fans felt personally betrayed. In their eyes, The Rock was no longer the people's champion, but a cold, calculated commercial machine, putting his own interests above everything, even the community that once made him a legend. The Rock's exit from Fast and Furious after clashing with Vin Diesel, citing philosophical differences, was another glaring sign he only wants total control over any project. His return after Black Adam's flop screamed prioritizing cash over pride. His political ambitions, whispers of a White House run, just exposed more of his fakeness. Dodging controversial issues and backtracking on his Biden support during the Joe Rogan Experience got him called out by Patrick B. David. Neutrality won't get you to the White House. Fans clocked that every move The Rock makes is driven by a fear of public backlash, turning him into a beige everyman with zero personality left. The Rock's legacy is now a cautionary tale. He traded his authenticity for a walking billboard persona, manipulating his clout for personal gain, exploiting the trust of fans and colleagues like Henry Cavill and Cody Rhodes, and exposing his unprofessionalism through scandals that never should have happened. Fans who once hailed him as a hero now drag him on X with comments like, "The Rock lost himself in his own power bubble," or "He's not Dwayne anymore, just an empty brand." The Rock's one shot at redemption lies in the smashing machine, where he'll need to bury his larger-than-life persona under layers of prosthetics to become Mark Kerr, a role demanding the vulnerability and raw authenticity he's dodged for years. But does he have the guts to ditch his infamous nose claws and face his true self, or will he stay trapped behind the mask he's built? Fans are already throwing shade. Can we say he's hit rock bottom yet? In Hollywood's power bubble, where every move is strategized to stay likable, can audiences still trust the story or just the tightly controlled brand of the star himself?